Men don't hate talking about feelings. They learned it was dangerous.
Emotional conditioning. Why silence feels safer. Men don't hide feelings because they don't have them. They hide them because they were punished for showing them. From a young age, boys learn a clear lesson. Emotions cost respect. Crying gets mocked. Fear gets dismissed. Vulnerability gets labeled as weakness. Whether it comes from parents, teachers, friends, or society itself, the message is consistent. Be strong, stay quiet, don't feel too much. This creates a powerful reward-punishment loop. When a boy suppresses emotion, he's praised for being tough. When he expresses it, he feels shame. Over time, his brain associates silence with safety and expression with danger. That's social conditioning at work. The problem is, this training doesn't disappear with age. It follows men into adulthood, into friendships, and especially into relationships. Silence becomes a defense mechanism, not because men don't care, but because caring once cost them something. How boys learn to shut down. Most men don't learn emotional silence as adults. They learn it as boys. It starts early. At home, when a boy cries and hears, "Stop being weak." At school, when he shows fear and becomes a target. With friends, when vulnerability is rewarded with laughter instead of support. The first time a boy opens up and gets laughed at, something closes permanently. Psychologically, this is reward-punishment learning. Express emotion and lose respect. Suppress it and stay safe. Over time, the nervous system adapts. He doesn't just hide feelings from others, he stops accessing them himself. Emotional shutdown becomes a survival strategy. What looks like toughness is often trained in numbness. What looks like confidence is often fear of exposure. And this conditioning doesn't disappear with age. It follows him into adulthood, into relationships, into moments where emotional connection is required, but emotional language feels dangerous. The cost shows up later, in distance, in misunderstandings, in relationships that fail not from lack of care, but from learned silence. Why talking feels like weakness to men. For many men, talking about feelings doesn't feel neutral, it feels dangerous. Vulnerability threatens something deeper than comfort, identity. From an early age, masculinity becomes tied to strength, control, and emotional stability. To be shaken is to be seen as lesser. For men, vulnerability often feels like social suicide. Psychologically, this is about status loss. Men are wired to protect their position in social groups, in relationships, in their own self-image. Opening up risks judgment, rejection, or diminished respect. So silence feels safer than honesty. The fear isn't always conscious. It shows up as avoidance, deflection, or jokes instead of truth. He may feel deeply, but he doesn't translate emotion into language, because language makes it visible. This is where intimacy starts to break down. When feelings stay unspoken, partners feel shut out. Emotional distance grows, not because he doesn't care, but because caring feels too risky to express. What protects his image slowly sabotages his connection. How this conditioning destroys relationships. This conditioning doesn't stay in childhood, it follows men straight into relationships. Silence becomes a habit, withdrawal becomes a defense, and emotions go unspoken until they harden into resentment. She thinks he doesn't care. He thinks staying quiet is protecting the relationship. Psychologically, this creates a fatal mismatch. When conflict appears, he pulls inward to avoid saying the wrong thing. She reaches outward, needing reassurance and emotional presence. The more he shuts down, the more unheard she feels. The more she pushes, the more threatened he becomes. Over time, misunderstandings stack up. Small issues never get resolved. Emotional distance replaces closeness. What started as self-protection turns into emotional abandonment, even if he never meant it that way. The tragedy is that both people are trying to keep the relationship safe, using opposite strategies. But there is a healthier alternative, one that doesn't require losing strength, respect, or identity. How men can express emotion without losing respect. Most men avoid emotions because they believe expression means collapse, saying everything, losing control, handing over power. But emotional strength isn't saying everything, it's saying the right things the right way. Healthy expression is framed, intentional, and grounded. It starts with boundaries. Instead of venting, a man names the issue, the impact, and the direction forward. Calmly, clearly, without blame. That's not weakness, that's leadership. Psychologically, this kind of communication preserves respect because it shows self-control. You're not asking to be rescued, you're informing. You're not unloading emotions, you're managing them. Vulnerability doesn't mean exposure without structure. It means choosing when, how, and with whom you open up. The man who can express emotion without losing his center becomes more trusted, not less. Because real strength isn't emotional silence. It's emotional mastery. Men aren't broken. They were trained. Silence didn't come from weakness. It came from learning what was rewarded and what was punished. For most men, staying quiet felt safer than being misunderstood, mocked, or losing respect. So they adapted. But what was learned can be unlearned. Awareness restores choice. When you understand why silence became your default, you're no longer trapped by it. You can choose when to speak, how to express emotion, and who deserves access to it without sacrificing strength or self-respect. This isn't about becoming emotional. It's about becoming conscious.